Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Checks on the mic. Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega, the host with the most boastful, coast to coast, eats toast, French toast. I can't think of anything else that rhymes. Post up in the paint. You know, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Guys, what's going on? Again, this is hashtag TNT JoeFi. This is episode I lost count, and this is day something in quarantine because I equally lost count. How's it going? What's going on? Happy Friday, TGIF. Does anyone have any special plans for the weekend, or are you going to be stuck at home like every other weekend for the last goddamn 6 months, if not longer? I don't really have much planned except for work and more work and more work. So that's okay. It keeps me busy. We don't have much of we kind of have a slow day in tech today, but you know, I got a couple stories. We'll talk about it. And if anyone's in chat that has anything interesting to share or you want to talk about, please feel free. You know, I always encourage the community to talk and have a conversation and keep things lively. So feel free. I love to engage. So Brian was the first in here with TGIFM. Sounds like Brian was either driving while he was typing that out. There we go. TGIF TNT JoeFi with a thumbs up. What's going on, Brian? Congratulations for being the first to post. Team Verizon here as well. What's up, Jerome? I'm watching the stream right now from our TV, which it turns out is about 3.5 feet from the floor. 3.5 feet from the floor. So how tall is my... Oh, actually, by the way, too, and I know there aren't a lot of people in stream yet, so I'll bring this up again. But do you see this here? Now it's cleaner. There's only one cable instead of two. I cannot remember who recommended that I put the surge protector up behind the TV because that's what I ended up doing. I don't know if it was Ronaldo that recommended it, but this is much cleaner, and this is probably going to be a lot easier to cover up than when I had two cables, I think. And then, and I'll bring this up again, but do you see this right here? Do you see this? I got my, so this is not a couch. This is a love seat because I live in a tiny apartment, but this thing came in and it's great. It didn't take long to set up. All I had to do was put the legs on it. And, but you can see how low this is and how high this is, but it's not bad. Actually, I sat on it for a while and I watched a little TV or a couple of YouTube videos and it wasn't bad. Team Verizon though says going to spend the weekend fasting as I have a follow-up check. As I have a follow-up checkup at the hospital on Monday. So you and I will both be fasting, Team Verizon. I am actually breaking my fast today. I have now done 18 65 plus hour fasts in a row. So if you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like it's, just know that someone else is going to be fasting with you. So after I break my fast today, later tonight, I'm going to eat probably like in a 4-hour time span, and then I'm going to be fasting all the way until Monday night. So I'm with you. If you need encouragement, I'm with you with that fast. So anyway, Brian says, damn, caught typing and driving. You're good, man. You're good. Be careful driving out there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. We're going to talk about this article I found from Android Central that's talking about a leak for the LG. Oh, Jesus. Did I just call it a G92? That's not a G92. It's a Q92. That thumbnail's all wrong. I got to update that thumbnail now. Okay, I need to update the title too. So it's not a G92, it's a Q92. I'm going to get shit for this. I know. I was rushing. That's my fault. That's on me. So this article from Android Central says the LG Q92 5G leak reveals a Snapdragon 765G chipset, a 48 megapixel camera. Why did I think G? Just because I think there's always a G in front of LG phones, but it is a little I don't know what the word is here. Interesting that they're making another LG phone with a Snapdragon 765G chipset. We already have one with LG called the Velvet. And what are they doing? They're going back to a letter number combination here. So instead of an LG Velvet, now it's an LG Q92 with the same chipset. The Q92 5G could prove to be a solid rival to Samsung's Galaxy A51 5G. This is not the Q92. This, I believe, is the Velvet. I think they just wanted to have a picture here of what possibly could be the Q92 if they follow the same design rules or design. What's the word am I looking for? Blueprint, pathway, pathogen as the Velvet. What you need to know, a new leak has revealed nearly all of the key specs of LG's upcoming 5G-enabled Q92 smartphone. God, I can't believe I called this a G92. Q92. The phone will feature a 6.7-inch FHD Plus hole-punch display and a 7-nanometer Snapdragon 765G chipset. It'll also have a 4,000 milliamp hour battery and a 48-megapixel primary camera. So the specs on it seem decent. Nothing crazy, nothing like out there. I mean, the 765G chipset is the now, I think, most common chipset for a mid-ranger for like not high end, but I hate using the word serviceable, but probably good enough chipset for most people. So let's read into it. In its Q2 2020 earnings report, LG revealed that it plans to launch a few affordable 5G smartphones later this year. Key specs and design of an upcoming mid-range 5G-enabled LG smartphone called the Q92 have now leaked online, giving us our first look at the company's answer to Samsung's popular Galaxy A51 5G. So, yeah, maybe this is what they want to compete directly again. This is maybe what they want to compete directly against. I'm just really confused about seeing this LG phone. Why not just price the Velvet cheaper? You're going to have the same chipset. This seems very reminiscent now of what Google is doing with the Pixel 5, because they're going to use a Snap 765 in there, but then they're also going to release a cheaper version called the Pixel 4a 5G. If anything, this right here, this Q92 is what would be the Pixel 4a 5G, and then the LG Velvet is what would be the Pixel 5. Although LG's phones and Google's phones are still different, even though they have the same chipset, mainly because of the camera. So the leak suggests the LG Q92 5G will have a 6.7-inch FHD Plus display with a hole punch cutout in the middle, housing a 32-megapixel selfie camera under the hood, a Snap 765G, 6 gigs of RAM, and 128 gigs of storage. So I guess this is the leak here from, I'm not going to pronounce that properly, Abhishek. I think I might have pronounced that properly. Abhishek Yadav. So he's saying here, let's see, what else did we not read? 765G, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. So then again, a quad camera setup, although this depth sensor isn't really, it's more of a tri camera setup. 32 megapixel front camera, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, a side mounted fingerprint reader, sound stereo speakers, AI sound stereo speakers, comes in ceramic white. Oh, that's what mine is. Well, my P40 Pro Plus. Ceramic white, mirror titanium, and mirror red. So here are a few of the images that I guess got leaked. So it looks decent. You can see here that the bezels are kind of bigger on the top and bottom. You know what's weird is when I see the bezel being this big up top, it's not even that big, but you know, like compared to a lot of phones these days, I feel like they could have figured out, instead of putting a hole punch, whatever you want to call it, they could have just figured out a way to put it up there. What are these other photos? Oh, Who got a God? It's so funny how these things get leaked. So yeah, it seems like all the specs are here already. I wonder when. So when is this supposed to come out? The phone will come equipped with a quad camera setup on the back, 48 megapixel primary sensor, 4,000 milliamp hour battery. No word on charging speeds. A side-mounted fingerprint sensor, stereo speakers with AI sound, and then 3 different colors. So the Q92 5G will utilize LG's new, quote, natural design language. So yeah, it's going to be maybe reminiscent of what the Velvet is. While there's no word on when the phone will be launched, it'll likely be making an appearance at IFA 2020 next month. So I'm still a little perplexed at what this Q92 5G could be, only because of the LG Velvet. If the LG Velvet is high end, right? $700 high end phone, what are they going to be skimping out on this phone? Are they going to be so the build quality probably won't be as good, probably won't be dust and water resistant, I'm guessing. No wireless charging. What else? I wonder. So what else do these specs say here? Anything? Well, I can't read. I'm assuming this is in Korean. I have no idea. And that's all we get in terms of photos, it looks like. Yeah, side fingerprint recognition. So there it says here fast charging, no. So probably I don't know what speed that's going to be, if it's going to be anything. Well, of course it's going to be something. It's just not going to be fast in terms of charging. That's it. That's all I got on it. I also called this wrong, calling it a G92. A Q92 5G is what it looks like we're going to be having. Well, I don't even know if the States is going to get it at all. And I feel like at this point, it's going to be tough competition with the, I was going to say with the Galaxy. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough competition with the Pixel 4a 5G. I feel like a lot of phones that want to compete now are going to have to get on, they're going to have to get on the same level as the Pixel 4a 5G at a $500 price point if they want to compete in that 765G market. I wonder how good the Pixel 4a 5G is going to be versus the Nord in terms of like battery life, in terms of like the performance, even though it's the same chipset. I'm curious how much, how good that 4a 5G is going to be. Makes me wonder if I get my Pixel 4a and I detect some kind of lagginess or slowness, I might return it and buy the 4a 5G instead. I can't believe I'm transitioning this conversation back into the Pixel. It's not what I meant to do. Let me get back into chat here. Let me say hi to everybody. Brian says, can the TV tilt downwards so you don't get neck pain? I think it can. I know for anyone that wasn't here yesterday, everybody was like roasting me on how high this TV was because it got mounted too high. And I could have even said something before they ended up doing it. Well, one guy, I got someone on TaskRabbit to do it, but I don't know. I'm that kind of guy that's just like, yeah, I'll be fine. And then my couch came in and I don't know. I should show you guys. I should sit on there and then look up so you can see how high that TV is compared. I mean, it wasn't bad. I was still able to watch something on it today and it wasn't bad, but like at one point I was like, I put my eyes down. I'm like, it would be fine if it was here too. Paul Hendricks, hi all. What's going on, Paul? Welcome to the stream, man. Nice to see you. Sean is in here as well. Good afternoon. Sean, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you guys. Paul says, sounds like LG got infiltrated by Sony's name thinking crew. Yeah, where does someone come up with the name Q92 5G? Who is the marketing team behind the names of these phones? Why can't they hire me? I can give you better names for phones than the Q92. I don't understand. Jason Fisher, what's going on, man? How's it going? Side mounted. with the little throw up emoji. I mean, I've said this many times, Jason. Jason, I don't think I've seen you in here before. So if you are new, welcome, welcome. Also, thank you for coming. If you notice that uh, I completely botched the title of this stream. It's not the G92, it's the Q92. But yeah, I've always said that rear fingerprint readers are the way to go. That's like my way of doing it. In display, those are fine too. I have it on my Huawei P40 Pro Plus, but I still prefer the rear fingerprint mounted rear mounted fingerprint reader. That's what I meant to say. But I still feel like they should just put one on the front, put one in the rear, have Face ID, unlock, facial recognition. Just put it all in there. Put it all in there. Y is in here as well. Hello everyone, what's going on? Why? How you doing, man? Is there a headphone jack? There was actually, I didn't even see any kind of talk about a headphone jack, so who knows? I guess we'll wait and see. So, Y says, I guess it'll be 5-watt charging. That would be awful. It'll come with Apple's old school charger, which is really not that old school because they're still putting it in there. Chester Foster is in here. Chester, what's going on, man? How's it going? Let's go. Why is your TV so Thank you. Thank you for continuing this roast, Chester. Welcome to the stream, man. My third stream. There you go. Chester, welcome, man. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hopkins is in here as well. Pixel 4a rivals have to get the camera to a close level, and it ain't gonna happen, at least not by LG. And you know what, Hopkins, you're completely right. I feel like other phone manufacturers are gonna have a hard time competing. At least Android manufacturers are gonna have a hard time competing with the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 4a 5G. They're gonna have a tough time, and that's good. That's a good thing because that means that these other phones are going to have to step up their game. That's the way I see it. So, Y says, so Jerome, when are you going to show us your giraffe friend? You put the TV for him, her, right? I know. I know. It's so okay. Look, I'll go sit. I'll go sit, and you guys can see how high that is for me. Give me a second, or you guys can visually see. Can you see? I mean, it's not awful, right? Or did it look really bad when I sat there? Did it look like it was too high? It might have. Jerome is going to be Periscope watching TV. Y says it's because the Q series is LG's mid-range series. Thank you, Y. I love that Y has all this. Y has like all this like phone knowledge that I don't. So Y always knows which chipsets are in what. And for some reason, my memory just doesn't. I can't remember any of this anymore. So thank you, Y, for filling us in. Okay. Let me see here. Brian says the Pixel 4a camera just pimp slaps all the phones at its price point. I mean, Brian has a point. The 4a even sucker punches the flagships and knocks them down by surprise. Paul says, Jerome, you put up your green screen and project your TV low. I should. Movie theater. Big House Productions. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. But it's not bad. It's not awful. You know, I will say, because you guys can't see now. Now it's great, actually. The love seat is blocking the bed behind me, so you can't see the bed. But when I lay down in the bed behind me over there, the couch, the TV is so high that this couch or love seat does not block the TV. So it feels like it was meant to be done on purpose. Now I can see the TV from there, from the bed all the way behind there. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's continue on. What do I have next? Ooh, here we go. It's also another article from Android Central, and this it looks like it's an opinion piece, but for me, I feel like spot on. I didn't read this yet, but just to read the title here, the first thought in my head was like, yes, Google needs to step it up. This is something that I've been saying. As soon as Samsung started saying they were going to support 3 years of their flagship phones, and then the Surface Duo, they said they're going to do 3 years of support. And this article nails it really well. Google, it's now time to promise 5 years of Pixel updates. Samsung and Microsoft have each promised 3 years of updates. Now it's time for Google to raise the bar. And that's exactly what I've been saying since this news came out. If you buy a Pixel phone, you're guaranteed 3 full years of software support. That means updates. When Google announced this, it was unheard of for any Android phone to see that level of longevity. And at a time when some phone makers never provided any updates, Google used, let me read that again. It was unheard of for any Android phone to see that level of longevity, and at a time when some phone makers never provided any updates, Google used this to stand out from its competition. I'm also talking to you, Motorola. How are you guys offering 1 year of updates? When did that seem okay to do in the year of 2020? To the point where people were so upset that it forced you guys to say, okay, we'll give you 2 years instead. Like, that's not proper practice whatsoever. I'm about to cough. Sorry. My bad. I might need to get a drink because I have like that itchy throat right now. If this gets tough, I'm going to go grab a drink in a second. So, you might have to talk amongst yourselves. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. If anyone asks, let them know. Oh my God. Okay. I'll be right. Okay. Oh my God. We're back. Do you see how laxed I've been lately? I just don't care. I mean, I care, but like, it's chill. We're all chilling out. So let's read about support for Google Pixels and why Google should start supporting these phones for 5 years at least. So in hindsight, we shouldn't have looked at this way. God damn it. In hindsight, we shouldn't have looked at it this way. Google controls Android and its update cycle, and in this regard, it has no competition. Google offering only 3 years of updates for a phone whose software was written by another part of the company is actually ridiculous. I'm glad that someone's pointing it out this way. Spare me the excuses about why Google can't do anything more than it is doing today. I've heard them all. Things like passing the blame to Qualcomm aren't going to change my mind. Those same arguments were used when Samsung only sent out one platform update, and now Samsung also promises 3 years of support. So does OnePlus to an extent. So does Microsoft with its very first Android phone. You could say that Google offering 3 years of updates is what prodded another. God, I'm so off today. You could say that Google offering 3 years of updates is what prodded other Android phone makers to do the same, and you would be right. That means if Google can update a Pixel phone for 5 years, then other phone makers would then follow suit. That's not a sure bet, though, because updating a phone costs money, and companies in the business of selling phones don't like to spend money if they don't have to. And that's also a great point. Why would they want to update an older phone that you've already spent money for when they can stop doing that, not spend money to do that, and try to force you to buy a new phone? And I don't know if companies are finally realizing that brand loyalty makes some sense here. The same reason that people get to brag about why their iPhone has been so good the last 5 years. This is something that when I first moved from Apple to Android, I I was very Google Android biased, right? It was like they could do no wrong. And when people talked about, well, you know, their iPhone or whatever costs so much money, and I would always make fun of that, but the one thing that I ignored was the fact that these iPhones lasted a long time, and most of the time without any issues. I mean, no phone is perfect. Let's make that statement very clear. And I am more on a Google Android bias than an iPhone one. I still prefer Android phones. If it was up to me, I would carry and use an Android phone over an iPhone all day, every day. But the camera, the battery, the experience, that all plays a part. Like at the end of the day, there was a reason the iPhone 11 Pro was my daily driver for such a long time. I mean, it isn't right now. The Huawei P40 Pro Plus is my daily, but the iPhone 11 Pro is still one of the phones I use on a very consistent basis. So let's go ahead. Let's continue on. This is another area where Google can afford to think differently. Google doesn't make any money from making and selling Pixel phones, and there's a good chance it never will. Check out the particulars the next time Google releases a quarterly financial statement. Hardware is not Google's cash machine. Ads, software, and services are. And Android is not some goodwill gesture from Google. It's a vehicle for Google's ads, software, and services. So spending more money to make Android better is in Google's best interests. We also can't forget the elephant in the room, Apple. The fruit company offers 5 years of updates for every single one of its phones, all of them. All of them. An iPhone 6s will be updated to iOS 14. Apple might make a few dollars from App Store purchases by people who can't or won't upgrade to a newer iPhone than the 6s, but I'll wager Apple loses money when it takes the time to engineer and test an iOS update for an old iPhone. So why does Apple do that? Why has Apple been doing that for such a long time? And I don't know if I'm right when I say that answer, but to me, I really think it has a lot to do with brand loyalty. It has a lot to do with saying, hey, this phone lasted me a long time. And when this phone eventually gives up or it's time for me to upgrade, I'm going to buy another Apple product. I'm going to stick to that brand. The money is worth it for me. The money I spent on it was well worth the X amount I paid for it, and I'm just going to stick to it. At least that's how I'm thinking when I see that, because I think of friends, I think of family, I think of people who will not switch over to Android, who are in Apple's ecosystem because it's just a phone that has been, I guess, reliable and does everything they need and then some, and does a lot of things right, despite how boring it could be, despite how like similar it is year after year after year, or that the features come out much later than Android's features, all that kind of talk. I still think for a lot of people, it's just a reliable phone. And it is. And it is. I think for me, in most regards, the iPhone does a lot of things right. That's really all I have to say about it. At an expensive price. Apple does it as a selling point for new iPhones. If you buy an iPhone 12 when it comes out, you'll see at least 5 years of new features and those, quote, enhancements software makers like to crow about. This helps people justify spending more than they would normally because they know they will get more mileage from their $1,000 purchase. This is exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying. In short, it makes customers happy. I don't want to use an iPhone just so I can get better software support. I have nothing against them, but an iPhone just isn't my cup of tea. And so that's kind of like what I was saying earlier. To me, yeah, I like using my iPhone. It does a lot of things right, but if it was up to me, I would pick Android over iOS any day. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to call Google out when shit is not proper on Android, but I also won't. I'll also do the same for iOS. The The fact that I am having all these random thoughts. The fact that I can't move my icons on my home screen on my iPhone in 2020 is still ridiculous. The fact that it has to sit on the upper left of my phone. I mean, yes, iOS 14 with widgets and everything is changing that slightly, but it's still not giving me that solution that Android gives me. Okay, let me move on here. But before I'll spend $1,000 or more on an Android phone, I'd buy an iPhone because I know I can use it as long as I want and it'll still be supported. I can't say the same for any Android phone, not even the ones Google itself makes. And that's a little sad to say. That's a little sad to read. Maybe it's easier for Apple because it makes the processor and doesn't have to depend on Qualcomm. And that's a fair point as well. That's reasonable, but I'd bet that paying for a longer support contract from a chip vendor is cheaper than building your own chip. And if building an in-house chip is what it actually takes to keep updating its own line of smartphones, then Google needs to step to it. And hopefully that's something they're going to do with the Pixel 6. The rumor is Google is working on their own in-house chipset that will be debuted on the Pixel 6. And the hope here is that it's going to have crazy performance that's similar to Apple. It'll get supported for X amount of years as long as Apple has. But reading this article just makes me realize that Google should have been supporting Pixel phones and Nexus phones for a much longer time than they currently are, and that they haven't done in the past. I've been an Android fan since the platform launched. I actually waited in line at a DC T-Mobile store to buy my G1. So that's a hardcore fan right there. I'm not saying I plan to quit the platform if Google can't give me the thing I want. I'm just saying we deserve better. And now that phones are so ungodly expensive, it's time for Google to show manufacturers how it's done and offer a full 5 years of support. I can't disagree with this article. I'm very on board with everything. Who wrote this article? That this author wrote here. Oh, it's Jerry. Yeah, Jerry Hildenbrand. There aren't a lot of tech people that I do know, but Jerry, I've read his stuff for a long time because he's been doing it for a while, and before I was even a YouTuber, I've always respected his work. But I completely agree with everything that he has to say here. I mean, we can sit and have a debate about, and no one cares about updates. Sorry, I said that wrong. We can sit here and debate about people saying that nobody cares about updates. Nobody even notices them. But I don't even think it's about that. I don't think it's about whether or not people notice an update coming in. Do you think that people who own iPhones for like 3 years down the road look at that and they see a new update and they're like, yes, my phone got an update. That's the best. That's why Apple's the best, because it's 3 years later and they don't care about that. I don't think they even notice it. But the fact that the phone is still getting supported, the fact that it has support, the fact that it's still reliable and it's still doing its job and it's still doing things that I guess you'd be surprised to see 3, 4, 5 years down the road that Android isn't able or hasn't been able to do is a little sad. I mean, I think we should be at the point now where we can say, yeah, Android phones get supported as long as iPhones do. Why should Apple have that as a sticking point versus Android? And this article has that on point. That's really it. That's really all I have to say about that. I feel like most of us would agree when it comes to that. All right, let me get back into chat here. Let me scroll back up. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Wow, you guys have been talking for a bit. All right. Y says, I am in Fortnite side on the band. We're going to talk about that today. Well, yeah, I think that was part of my title. Was it not? Anyway, Hopkins says, well said to Brian. I always wanted a competing LG as owner of a Nexus 5X, but it boggles my mind how they're unable to make competitive phones anymore. I mean, you're not wrong, Hopkins. You're not wrong. Y says, though probably biased because I have played so much. I mean, no, you know what? We're going to talk about that. I mean, I talked about this yesterday. I'm going to add a little bit into it as well. Okay. So Hopkins says, I don't like Fortnite personally, but got to give Epic Games credit that they're brave enough to speak. Yeah, and actually, so I pulled an article about this whole Fortnite issue, but it is an article that I resonated with. So a lot of people were just talking about they're suing, but this one is like, yes, they're suing, but they're doing it publicly because they want people to know. They didn't have to do it publicly. They could have quietly done it, but they're doing it. They purposely did it to get it pulled so that they could cause commotion. I'm going to get into that though. So, anyway, Brian says Google's build quality on their phones makes it hard to keep it for 5 years. That's a fair point. I will say that my Nexus 6P, I'm still slightly impressed with how good the quality still feels on that Nexus 6P. Yes, I know the phone's bendable or whatever and the glass, whatever, but I still feel like the Nexus 6P still feels quality for what it is. All these years down. God, my throat. Anyway, Chester says, I just bought the S20 last week because of the 3 years of support. That's great. I traded my old iPhone 8 and purchased a new S20 for $500. That's a great deal. That's, you know what? Somebody on my stream a couple days ago was asking me about the Note 20 and if it was worth it. And I said, it could be worth it, but it'll be worth it if you could get it for a good deal. Don't spend $1,000 on that, especially the fact that a Note 20, the regular Note 20 is made out of plastic. Wait till you can get a great deal on that Note 20 and then, you know, make that purchase. Don't buy it at full price because Samsung always has great deals when it comes to a lot of their phones. Okay, let me, sorry guys, I know I'm not going to be able to get through every single comment here, although I kind of want to, but Paul says, no sweat, just kill off their phone completely in 5 years, 4 and 4X style. Chester says, the Pixel I had has a better camera, but the S20 has a better camera for video and flexibility, wide angle, plus that 120 hertz screen. You're not wrong, Chester. And you know what? At least it's not the S20 Ultra, because I think the S20 is still really solid. And I wish I had an S20 so I could test the video versus the Pixel 4, but I wouldn't argue with you on that. I'm guessing the video is probably most likely better than the Pixel 4 as well. Anyway, Brian says anyone who coughs in public gets the death stare these days. I know it was because I said something and I was like, my throat, whatever. I'm fine. Big House says Motorola's issue is Lenovo. I'm hoping my Moto Edge 5G gets at least 2 years of updates or multiple security patches. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed, Big House. Fingers crossed. Paul says, yeah, so does randomly hugging strangers. Hopkins says, Chester, honestly, I dislike how the Galaxy S20 processes images. It looks smudgy if you zoom in because of the aggressive sharpening, and it has focus issues too. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know how bad the focusing though is on the S20. Isn't the focusing on the S20 at least better there than on the Ultra? I'm pretty aware of the progressive or the aggressive sharpening, but I really wish I just had phones to test out. Rashab is in here. Rashab, welcome back, man. Saying hi to Paul. Why don't you say hi to the rest of us, man? Rashab, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Okay, let me scroll down here. Team Verizon says, as an Android guy, I agree that iPhones have long-term value for money. They do, and it's not even, yeah. And I mean, think of the resale value as well. They have great resale value on those phones. Sean says, $1,000 plus phone should be perfect. They should be, but unfortunately, a lot of them are not. All right, let me scroll down here. Y says Google should do this so 5 years can eventually become the standard. That would be great. To know that every phone could be supported for 5 years, or at least at the very least, the flagship phones. If that could be the standard 5 years, I would love that. Sean says, and for $1,000 plus phones, Google should have 5 years of updates in Android. I can't disagree. You're going to hear no pushback from me when it comes to this stuff. Okay. Let me scroll down. I love that you guys are talking amongst each other. Really, it's great to see this community talk and have all these perspectives here. Chester says the Note 20 came out. I traded my old iPhone for $500 off the S20. Insane discount for $500. I'll give you a pass, Samsung. There you go. I mean, at that price, it's great. So why says Jerome, did you see the 1984 parody? I didn't. I know people were talking about it. What Why's talking about is Epic Games had a parody of the old Apple commercial. Is that right? And pretty much saying, yeah, they were calling Apple out on their stuff. I didn't see it though. I should take a look at that though. Okay. You know what? We should talk about Epic. I'll get into that. We'll get into that. Before I do, really quick, for anyone that's still in the stream, please do me a favor. Please do me a favor, hit that like button. Liking the stream helps me in an algorithmic kind of way, aka I think it helps people find the stream. It helps people see what's going on and coming into chat and all that kind of stuff. Also, FYI, I do stream weekdays at 2 p.m. Central. So if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. You can hit that bell notification too to get notified anytime I do stream. At the end of the day, it's just a way to support. So I would appreciate it if you get a chance. Also, I'm trying to get this posted up here. If you are in the stream and if you've noticed people have green in their name, they have a red Chicago star next to their name. That's because they are part of the Phone Jerome fam, and you could be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is hit that blue join button. You'll get the red Chicago star next to your name. You'll get the green in your name as well. You'll get to use custom emoji, and you'll get your name in every single one of my intros and outros to my live streams. Again, all you got to do is hit that blue join button. If you can't find it, you can go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join, and that'll be it as far as my marketing spiel. Again, I understand that times are tough, guys. So I know if you can't do that, totally understandable. But even if you're able to just like or subscribe or share the stream, it's a free way to support. So either way, supporting is just, I appreciate it either way. And speaking of support, Chester Foster with $1 super chat. Chester, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys all the time for supporting in any way that you can. And for you guys that go that extra mile or extra step or extra, whatever you want to call it. It really means a lot to me. It helps encourage me to do what I do. It helps offset costs, and it makes sure that I can do this every weekday at 2 p.m. Central. So Chester, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the support. I believe this is your first super chat. So thank you. Thank you. I will be sure to add you as well to the super chatters for August, which is, God, I'm behind on that. I got to update that. So with that being said, Brian with the $1 super chat as well. Brian, thank you, man. Thank you for the support. We all know Brian is a regular supporter of the channel. Brian with his almost, and probably not even almost, with his daily super chat. So Brian, thank you again. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being a moderator. Appreciate you supporting the way you do, man. I see Tony is in here as well. Hi, Jerome. What's going on, Tony? What's up, man? I'm driving on my way home from work. Thank you for the update. No, welcome to the stream. Yay, it's Friday. Very true. TGIF. All right, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about this whole Fortnite issue. And the reason I picked this article specifically is because I could see where Epic is publicly trying to do what it's doing. They're trying to call Google out. They're trying to call Apple out. And I can't blame them. I can't. Yesterday I talked about, I can't remember who brought it up in chat, but yesterday in chat, somebody talked about how Apple pulled Fortnite out of its app store because Epic wanted to create their own store and they wanted them to purchase their microtransactions or their V-Bucks or whatever it is straight from the Epic store and not through the app store. And if you bought it from the Epic store, then you would even get a discount at that point. And my initial thought was like, they're doing this because of money, because Apple is getting such a big chunk of it and they want to find a way around that. And it looks like yesterday, later after the stream, I noticed that they did it with Google as well. And Google pulled Fortnite out of the Google Play Store as well. So this article says Epic invented a crisis so Fortnite fans would support its lawsuits against Apple and Google. I'll say that again. Epic invented a crisis so Fortnite fans would support its lawsuits against Apple and Google. The thing here is Epic could have sued them or could have like made this brouhaha without making it completely public, but they did it in a way where they would actually pull the game from mobile. Like Epic knew what they were doing. They knew that they were violating these terms. They probably most likely knew that the game was going to get pulled from the App Store and the Google Play Store. But they did it to make a point, and we're going to get into it. I didn't read this I didn't read this entire article, but I skimmed it and I was like, yeah, I could see where they're going with this. So when Fortnite developer Epic Games updated its app to allow it to process in-app purchases from gamers and skirt Apple and Google, it knew what was going to follow. Neither Apple nor Google would allow any of that, as this is a clear violation of the rules they have in place for the App Store and Google Play, respectively. It's not really about the money, although the 30% cut that Apple and Google get is a factor. I'm sure a lot of it is about the money. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with money. As a YouTuber, to see like Chester and Brian earlier just super chat me, for every dollar that I earn on this platform, or for every dollar that is donated to me as a super chat, I see 70 cents to that dollar. YouTube makes 30% of that cut. Is that cut fair? That's tough for me to say. As a creator, I would like to say no, it's not. That's a huge chunk. So for every $100 that I earn on the platform, I only see $70 of that. And then obviously I have to get that taxed afterwards as well. So I don't really even see $70 of that. I see way less than that. You know, for every dollar after taxes or whatever, I probably see 50 cents to the dollar. That's just how it goes. And it's tough. It's tough to make that living as a YouTuber. And we won't even talk about ad revenue. Ad revenue on YouTube is ridiculous. As a creator, I see 55% of that. Google takes 45% of that cut, and I don't make a ton of money on ad revenue anyway. I make more revenue. Not that you guys, I don't think you guys really care, or maybe you're curious, but I make more revenue from super chats than I do on ad revenue on YouTube. Like the money I make on ad revenue here does not constitute a living at all, which is why I do all these side jobs. And I have like a part-time gig where I do like freelance photography and videography and social media marketing, because I can't do this as a full-time job because it just does not pay enough. It doesn't. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I think what Epic Games is trying to do is make a statement and say, hey, Apple and Google have been making so much money off of developers for so long with this 30% cut, and we don't think it's fair. Let's read into the rest of this. Fortnite did so fully knowing that Apple would not blink and ban Fortnite as it would with any other app that's stepping out of bounds. The rules that govern any community aren't optional for those willing to play along. In this case, the App Store rules are strictly enforced, and Apple would have banned any developer pulling the same stunt. Epic undoubtedly knew this, and that's why it baited Apple in the first. It baited them. I believe that. Epic Games baited Apple. They baited Google. They knew they were going to get their games banned, or at least get to that point in some form of fashion. And obviously it's making a stir because all of us are talking about it. The fact that it was quick to follow up with its own take at a famous Apple commercial and to sue Apple is only proof that Epic looked to take advantage of the current context in its fight against Apple and Google. That's very true. Again, there was a commercial that was made that was Apple-esque. I think they took an old Apple commercial and they based it on everything that's going on. So they knew this was coming. They had it all ready to go. This is kind of like a publicity stunt, or a PR move, but a way to make people know what was happening here. Okay, I lost my spot. And Google too banned Fortnite. Epic then sued Google. All this is proof that Epic engineered the Fortnite crisis on mobile to win over public opinion and have gamers on its side in the fight with Apple. Epic could have sued Apple and Google without all the extra bells and whistles. Very true. The point of all of this is money. Didn't this article just say earlier it wasn't all about money? I was saying it's all about money. I believe it's all about money. The point of all of this is money. Epic isn't willing to pay up the 30% fee to pay up that. Who worded this? Epic isn't willing to pay up that 30% fee. Or better said, Epic wants more money from gamers, but it can't do it because of Apple and Google's in-app purchase shares. The Apple cut is really what it all boils down to, and Epic is just taking advantage of the antitrust vibe right now, as big tech companies are under increased scrutiny from regulators in the US, Europe, and elsewhere. So maybe the timing is really good on this on Epic's part as well, because these big tech companies are getting a lot of flack right now for, just being these huge monopolies and controlling everything. And Epic is like, hey, we can kind of like, take that knife that's already in them and just like twist it a bit more, and get people to be on our side. Because right now, these big behemoths are not, I think, on the consumer side, for the most part. If you're at least following along, I think most people are just over their heads. They don't think about this kind of stuff. But I think for people who are aware, this is a way to get the consumer on your side. Of the $10 you'd pay Fortnite for V-Bucks, $7 goes to Fortnite and $3 to Apple or Google. When Fortnite offered you the option of paying $8 for the same in-app purchase loot, it presented it as a 20% discount to the gamer. Again, let me kind of put that into perspective. So the reason that Fortnite is charging $8 for how many V-Bucks? Well, anyway, so what Epic Games is doing is, instead of paying $10 for however many V-Bucks that is on the Google Play Store or the App Store, you can get it straight from Epic for $8. You would save yourself as a consumer $2, and at the same like reach or whatever, Epic actually makes money from that. So even though they're discounting it, for the consumer, so there's no middleman is pretty much what's happening. Google doesn't take 30%. Apple doesn't take 30%. You save money, and they actually make more money by doing that, by cutting out the middleman. That's pretty much how this was supposed to work. But obviously it's not working now, because now both Google and Apple have banned Fortnite from their mobile platform. But the fact is that $8 happens to be a 14.29% increase in profit for Epic. Well, I'm not including here card processing fees, so let's round it up to 14%. Epic could increase the prices in the App Store and Google Play if it wants more money, but Apple and Google's cuts would also go up. Epic is being incredibly misleading in its public messaging. Yes, that 30% cut is annoying, and many developers don't like it. App Store users would appreciate price cuts for their favorite apps and subscription if it were for Apple to drop that percentage across the board. The same goes for Google and Play customers. But to say that, quote, Apple has become what it once railed against, the behemoth seeks to control markets, block competition, and stifle innovation in that 1984 spoof ad is false. Were it not for Apple, there wouldn't be more than 1 billion devices that can run Fortnite. That doesn't just happen overnight. It's also not something that Epic can take for granted after so many years and billions spent on iPhone and iOS research. The same goes for any developer. So that's a fair point as well. Like I can sit here and I can complain about YouTube, but YouTube is the biggest platform for me. It's where I get the most views. It's where people see my work. But I guess at the same time, that's also why I've been multi-streaming on Facebook and on Twitch, because I need to find other ways to make revenue, because I can't just rely on YouTube because I'm at their helm for everything. And I don't really know what Epic's like big play here. I mean, obviously they're going to lose money now because now the games are banned and you can't play it. So they're losing out. But they probably have an end game in store. By appealing to gamers with this concerted and well-executed PR campaign, Epic is hoping to put pressure on Apple and Google, willfully ignoring the reason why Fortnite works on iPad, iPhone, and Mac in the first place, and why it can make billions of dollars off of Apple's and Google's digital stores. It's easy to back the, quote, rebel in this fight, which Epic self-proposes it to be, and I'm probably in the minority defending Apple and Google on this one, but Epic's stunt should not be validated. Again, yes, I'd like to see that 30% go down if that means the savings are passed in their entirety to me, but I'm absolutely not going to trust anyone but Apple and Google with managing the app stores for mobile devices. That said, we're not going to learn who wins this out anytime soon. Apple and Google will have their work cut out for themselves in antitrust battles of their own, including the Epic one. And Apple will have a harder time appealing to public opinion on this one as efficiently as Epic just did. So for me, how I feel about this is they're all big companies. Epic isn't the rebel. Epic is just as big a company. I won't say as big, but Epic is a big money-making company. And they are also just looking out for themselves. I don't think they're fighting for the little guy. They're not fighting for the consumer. Yes, they're saving you money if you buy it straight from the Epic store, but that's also because they know they make money from that as well. That extra dollar that they're making off of you, it might seem like a little, but I can only imagine how many in-app purchases they make on their game. And I talked about this yesterday. Epic bought Rocket League not too long ago. Rocket League is the game I play. I have over 2,000 hours on that game, which I know sounds very sad, but I've been playing that game for over 3 years. It's the only game I play every now and then. But that's the thing that Epic did as well. Epic is now removing Rocket League from Steam, and they want you to download it only on their Epic store or whatever it's called, their platform. I mean, they know what they're doing. They realize they need to make their own platform and kind of like make their own money or make more money or however it works. So I'm not totally invested in this. I would love to see Google and Apple be like, hey, maybe 30% is a lot. Maybe we'll bring it down to 25% and then we'll pass that savings on to the consumer or whatever. That's all I got. I know the hour is up here. I want to at least cover, what did I want to cover here? Yesterday I talked about how ZTE has now a phone in the works that has an under camera display. Is that what it's called? Under display camera, a UDC. And I believe it's this phone, the A25G from ZTE. ZTE is soon going to launch the A25G with an under display camera. The company hasn't divulged any details about it yet, but a ZTE smartphone bearing model code A2121 and believed to be the A25G recently got certified by Tenna, revealing its full specs and design in the process. So a 6.92-inch full HD plus OLED display, 32 megapixel selfie camera, which you cannot see in the front because it's under the display. But we can see that the smartphone has a quad camera setup on the back, with which is a combination of a 64 megapixel primary, 8 megapixel likely ultra wide, and two 2 megapixel units, depth and macro. Under the hood, it has a 2.4 gigahertz octa-core processor, which matches the Snap 765G. Android 10, you can get it with 6, 8, or 12 gigs of RAM, 3 storage options, 64 gig, 128, and 256. And it also has expandable storage. So a micro SD card slot that you can expand all the way up to 1 terabyte. 4,100 milliamp hour battery, pretty good specs. How good is that under display camera going to be? I don't think it's going to be good at all. To be honest with you, it's going to be the first gen of many phones that's going to come with these under display cameras. I don't really think it's going to be great. I don't even know if it's going to be good, but we'll wait and see what it ends up looking like. I'm sure it's going to get refined. It's going to get better, but I wouldn't put too much faith into how good that front camera is really going to be. Okay. All right. Let me get back up into chat here. Chester says, thanks for the convo, Hopkins. You guys are all awesome. See you guys in the next stream. Chester, you're probably gone by now, but appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for the super chat as well. Yes, we have a great community here, which I'm very, very thankful for. Okay, let me scroll down here. Brian says we should just Cash App you. I thought about it actually. So my news org, they switched over to Streamlabs. And so the cut there, instead of YouTube taking 30%, I would do it straight through PayPal, and it would only be a 2% cut. So instead of only making 70 cents to the dollar, I would make 98 cents, which is, yeah. So I really need to look into it. I really like the system though, because it's cool because you get to show the super chats and all that. And I don't know. I just think it's a little more engaging, but I think there's a way to still, there is a way to still show kind of a super chat. It wouldn't look like this. It would look a little different, but I'll look into it. And then that way it would, yeah, I mean, for you guys to support, then you would know that it would be mostly going to the creator and not YouTube or whatever. Okay. Anyway, let me just scroll down here. Tony says this was just in court. Google, Apple, and Facebook were all in court over bullying smaller companies. Big bank take little bank tactics. It's a good way of putting it, Tony, for sure. Jay Smith. Jay, what's going on, man? Russell Kirsch, 1929 to 2020, inventor of the Pixel. Russell Kirsch was a computer scientist who was credited with inventing the Pixel and being the first to scan a digital photograph. Thank you for that history there. I had no idea. RIP, Russell Kirsch. Jay Smith, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for giving some of that history there. Thank you. Died at the age of 91 from a form of Alzheimer's disease. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for that bit of history. I like that. I feel like that should be a daily segment. Jay, you should just come in here and give us daily historian tidbits. Yeah, Brian says, RIP Russell Kirsch. Thank you for your contributions. Yeah, and then thanks, Jay Smith, for pointing that out. Thank you. Team Verizon says, I can't believe they're turning Rocket League into free to play. I'd rather a one-time payment thing. So for me, Team Verizon, yeah, I paid the $15 for it when I bought it, or 20 or whatever I paid, but it has been well worth the money. And I totally agree, or I can totally understand putting a one-time payment thing. But for me, if you make it free to play, that means there's just going to be more people playing it. That's how I feel about it. And then they'll make their money off of the microtransactions, or people buying wheels or a rocket boost, or, you know how that works. I've spent a good amount of money back when I first started playing the game. I always wanted and I still would love to spend more money, but I know that I can't waste that money on Rocket League. But I don't mind them doing it free to play. It'll give me more people to play. So, yeah, Brian says it's all about in-game transactions. I agree, Team Verizon, rather pay for the game and not have that BS. I mean, that's fair, but the way I see it though is the fact that you don't have to pay for anything. You can just play the game straight up. The game mechanics, everything is still good. And then it's up to you if you want to pay for those microtransactions. I'm not about microtransactions either. Trust me, I'm not. But if you want to charge people to pay for a certain type of wheels, be my guest. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't affect your gameplay. It doesn't make you any faster or any better at the game. it's just cosmetic. Um, Plus they give you a lot of free cosmetic stuff anyway. I'm kind of torn between the two. So yeah. Oh, Brian says Tana So Lit uses Streamlab. I'll have to look into it. Thank you for pointing that out, Brian. I'll have to take a look. Hopkins says, wow. And as I read, he was Hungarian, or he was of Hungarian origin, my nationality. There you go. Wow, Jay. I don't even know if Jay's still in here. But Jay provided some good feedback for everybody. Paul says, but you use selfie for social media and they downsize everything anyway. Is that short-sighted? I totally feel you. I think what they're trying to do is they're just trying to be first to market. They're trying to like be like, hey, we did this first. OnePlus is notorious for doing that. OnePlus does that a lot too. And I feel like I wish that they, and I guess notorious is not the right word. When I bought the OnePlus 6T, I kind of felt cheated because I really did not like the in-display fingerprint reader of the 6T. I got to sell that phone. I still have that phone and I need to get rid of it because I don't use it anymore. But yeah, I just don't like when people rush stuff to the market and it's not ready. And I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be ready either. Team Verizon says we should do tech trivia every stream. How would we do that? How would we do tech trivia? That sounds fun though. Maybe like at the very like last, or maybe in between the streams, right? Like in between stories, we do like a tech question or something. That would be fun. That we could tally up point. Oh man, that would be fun. How would we do that? I'll look into it. I think that would be really fun. Anyway, yeah, cool. Y says, hope they give something for paid Rocket League players. They are. They're giving special swag for people who paid, and they're even giving you like a badge of when you started, what year you started. So I like that. So at least they put some thought into it. They're giving people who paid the game a bunch of stuff, like a good amount of stuff, I believe. I haven't seen everything yet, but yeah. So all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. I know I didn't have a ton of stuff. I did have a couple other stories, but the hour is up. I have some other work to do anyway. And, you guys know how this goes. We do this every weekday, and I love that you guys are in here and supporting, and hopefully it's an enjoyable stream. I'm pretty sure it is for you guys. It's always a nice way to get with the community, talk, and see what's going on. So with that being said, I think that will be it, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I see a little more chat here. Let me just see. Oops. Maybe a bit of info near the end of the episode. Oh, for the tech trivia thing, is that what you're saying? I like that. I like that. We should do that. We should do something like that. Why says Jerome, I would be down for gameplay streams. Well, you know what? Maybe it's something I'll do. Maybe I'll do that on Twitch exclusively, maybe once a week or something. If you guys want to see me play Rocket League, I'm not the best. I have over 2,000 hours and I'm like diamond rank. And I think Diamond 3 was the highest I have ever been, but which is like a rank away from Champ 1, but I'm not that good. But it might make for some fun videos. I'll let you know if I do that. Okay. So Team Verizon says happy weekend, everyone. Paul says, yeah, I did, but I shrugged, although I'm not okay with it. Okay. Well, okay. I think that's it. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. Come back on Monday, 2 p.m. Central. We'll do it all over again. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the likes, the subscribes, the shares. For people who are YouTube members, thank you so much. For all my patrons and Patreons, for all my super chatters, thank you guys again. I'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend, guys. I am going to start doing my wave. Hit the play button. See you Monday. Take it easy, guys. Bye.